welcome back to CryptoBanter.com. I'm CryptoManRan, coming to you live each and every day at 10 a.m. EST. Yep, you asked me why we say live at 10 a.m. EST. I'll tell you why. We want to bring our crypto love to the whole world. And right now it's 7 a.m. in Los Angeles. And if you are in Los Angeles, you may want to stay in bed today because the markets are looking terrible. If you're going to get out of bed, don't look at your blockfolio, switch off CoinGecko for the day, go on holiday, do something. For those of you in New York, 10 a.m., you're in the middle of your workday. Europe, 3 p.m. Africa, 5 p.m. Israel, 5 p.m. too. And we're bringing you some crypto love. We've got a huge show for you guys today, so let's get on with the show. Let's get through with the headlines. And the big headline, of course, today is that university endowments have been buying Bitcoin. These are big players, and if there are such big players, well, then why aren't they moving the Bitcoin price? We're going to take a look at that today. We're going to take a look at the numbers. We're going to find out who's been buying, how much they've been buying, and all of that. And then we've got Bitcoin battling to stay above support levels. At the same time, stablecoin reserves on exchanges are going up, which means exchanges are holding more stablecoins. People are trading out of Bitcoin, out of Ethereum, out of altcoins into stablecoins. What does this mean? Does this mean that we're about to see a pump, or does this mean that money is going out the market and out of exchanges? We're going to talk about that. Yesterday, if you remember the show, we saw Ethereum trying to break the all-time high. It did it on the 4-hour chart, but couldn't break it on the daily chart. So we missed an all-time high close again. What does this mean? We said there's going to be an altcoin run. Is there still going to be an altcoin run, or should we be careful? That's what we're going to be looking at today. And I'm saying, guys, I think we're getting into alt danger territory. I'm seeing all the warning signs, and I want to give you the warning signs because I want our community to stay out of trouble and to make a lot of money. That's why we come here. That's what you guys are for. So if you are going to watch the show, watch until the end because that's when the wisdom is going to happen. But for now, give us some love, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's get this show on the road.
Like, subscribe, bell button, all. 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 Number 1, smash the like as soon as possible. Number 2, smash the subscribe button, the bell button and all, the bell button and all, the bell button and all. It's a very, very important algorithm, and literally if you do this, Bitcoin will be pumped, Bitcoin will be pumped, Bitcoin will be pumped, Bitcoin will be pumped.
If there's ever been a day where we need Bitcoin to be pumped, Bitcoin to be pumped, it is today. And that's if you look at your block folios or your prices today, you'll see that Bitcoin is again struggling to keep that support. And it's quite strange because we're all getting all the good headlines and the fundamentals are aligning. But maybe it's just a case of Bitcoin running too much too quickly. That could be what has happened. Let's look at the big news of the day, and that's the news that CoinDesk broke. And CoinDesk said that university endowments were buying Bitcoin. Now, is that such big news? I mean, universities, education institutions buying Bitcoin. Why is that so big? Well, guys, the real deal here is that these endowments hold a lot of money. In fact, let me show you how much money these endowments actually hold. So we've got this chart over here, which shows how much money these endowments are holding. Harvard endowment, but at the end of 2019, the end of fiscal 2019, which was a while ago, had $41 billion under management. Yale had $30 billion under management. Stanford, $30 billion under management. Princeton had $25 billion under management. So this is a big deal. This is a really big deal because these endowments are seen as the most professional managers in the world. And for the last year, they have been buying crypto. It shouldn't come as a surprise because we have been talking about it for a while. Let's see what CoinDesk said about it. CoinDesk said that according to 2 sources familiar with the situation, Harvard, Yale, Brown, and the University of Michigan, as well as several other colleges, have been buying crypto, get this, directly on exchanges. So these guys aren't buying through Grayscale. They've actually taken the decision to buy and to keep the coins or to do this themselves on exchanges. Now, imagine that this pot of money starts coming into crypto, starts investing just a little bit more into crypto. We've got ourselves another little honeypot, bringing in more money into Bitcoin. So, guys, if this is what's happening, why are we not getting a pump? And are we going to get the pump of all pumps? I think we are going to get the pump of all pumps. And I want to tell you why I think we're going to get the pump of all pumps happening right now. So in order to understand why I think we're going to get a pump, you need to understand the history of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, let's go back to when it was first launched. It was launched as what they called a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. Let's look at the white paper that Satoshi posted. And if you look at this, it's clear. Satoshi said it is a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. And this white paper was launched around 2008. When Bitcoin launched, however, we realized that it's actually not a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, because Bitcoin has two fundamental flaws in its design if it's going to replace cash. The first thing is that Bitcoin has very small blocks. And so transactions that fill these blocks, if there's too many transactions, the block gets too full, and then your transaction has to wait for the next block. And the problem is that these blocks happen 10 minutes apart. So if you take small blocks plus blocks that happen 10 minutes apart, you realize that Bitcoin is not going to be a peer-to-peer electronic cash system as we understand the word cash. We understand the word cash as giving cash from one person to another. In 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, the people that invested in Bitcoin invested in this promise of this peer-to-peer cash system. But as they realized that this promise of peer-to-peer cash wasn't going to happen, they changed the narrative. And the community changed the narrative to a narrative which, of course, in my mind, is much more suitable to Bitcoin. And that's the narrative of Bitcoin being a digital gold. The reason why that's such a good narrative is because Bitcoin has all the properties of gold. It has a limited supply, you mine it, you need lots of resources to mine it, but it's 10 times better than gold. And that's because you don't need to store it with lots of security guards and lots of space. You can send it very quickly. You can send large transactions very quickly. And of course, you can send small transactions very quickly. And so Bitcoin's narrative of digital gold was great, but no one wanted a digital gold. I mean, go think back to 2019. Even gold wasn't at any good price levels. No one wanted a digital gold. That's, of course, until COVID hit. And how did governments respond to COVID? Well, they printed money. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of money. In fact, here's a stat for you guys. 30% of all US dollars in circulation were created in 2020 and the beginning of 2021. That is a huge deal. I mean, you're talking about 30% of the biggest currency in the world being created in 1 year. So what they did there was, by printing more money, they devalued the existing money. Because if you think about it, if there were only a certain number of dollars in existence and those dollars could buy a certain number of goods, when you print more dollars, you got more money in existence. And therefore the goods become more expensive because the number of goods actually remains solid. So what did investors do? Well, they flocked to gold and they sent gold to all-time highs. And some of the more risky investors flocked to this new digital gold, which we call Bitcoin. And they did this, of course, because Bitcoin, like I said to you guys before, was 10x better than the old gold. You didn't have to pay a lot of money to store it. You could send it very easily, and so on and so forth. And that was really the history of it. In 2020, in 2017, the investors that invested in Bitcoin invested in it because they thought it was going to be a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. And the people that invested were retail investors and maybe some Wall Street misfits, so to speak, fund managers that were a bit more geeky and didn't fit into this whole narrative of Wall Street and loved this thing that Bitcoin was doing. But now we're in a completely different market. And we've got this new type of investor. We've got these institutions, we've got these funds, and we've got the corporate investors, which were brought to the fray by Michael Saylor. Today, when investors and funds are buying this, they're buying this on the gold narrative. And that's been a big narrative. But for me, there's something that's way, 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 way more exciting than this gold narrative that we've spun up. And that is the new narrative that Michael Saylor has spun up. Now, you may be thinking, how am I talking about one man in the Bitcoin ecosystem as the savior? To me, I think that Michael Saylor is probably the second most important man in the Bitcoin ecosystem after Satoshi. It's as simple as that. And the reason why I say that is because while we were all looking at a narrative which said that Bitcoin is becoming a digital gold, and that's a $10 trillion or $11 trillion market, Michael Saylor changed the game. He changed the narrative. In fact, let's look at Michael Saylor's journey. If you look at Michael Saylor in around 2013, he was actually a Bitcoin skeptic. Have a look at this. So he was a skeptic, and he said Bitcoin's days are numbered. It seems like it's just a matter of time before it suffers the same fate as online gambling. Basically, he said regulation was going to take this thing out. But then he did an about turn. And not only did he do an about turn in his company, but he did an about turn himself. The first thing he did was he bought himself, get this, he bought himself 17,732 Bitcoin. I can't even do the numbers. That's how much money that is. And he bought that in his own name. And I mean, look at this tweet again. He bought these at $10,000 a coin, $10,000 a coin, or under $10,000 a coin. That is a lot of money to be making in your personal name, especially because Bitcoin is now trading at about 3 times that. Then what he did was he got his company into Bitcoin. He got MicroStrategy, his company, into Bitcoin. So he was the first big CEO to come out and say, look, I'm a CEO of a listed company and I'm getting my company into Bitcoin. He put the majority of his treasury into Bitcoin. And if that wasn't enough, he then went and took a loan on the company's name. MicroStrategy offers $650 million of convertible notes to buy what? To buy more Bitcoin. So you ask me, why do I think this guy is the most important guy in the Bitcoin ecosystem after Satoshi? Well, not only did this guy come into the market only in April of 2020. So here's a rocket scientist from MIT that came into the market in 2020. He put his money where his mouth is, and he started going out on all these podcasts, CNBC shows, and everything else. And the whole of Wall Street was watching. They watched MicroStrategy, a company that was making $30 million or $10 million or $20 million. They watched this company make over $1 billion because they managed their corporate treasury. The more fascinating thing is how this man actually sees Bitcoin. And I want to play you something that was done on Crypto, but it's very important that you guys listen to this and understand how this guy sees Bitcoin and why the comparison that we make to digital gold just isn't big enough.
Demonetizing gold gets you to 500,000, and that's simply pulling all the monetary energy off of the gold rock from gold bugs who believe that gold is a store of value and a safe haven. But it's important to note there are a lot of organizations and a lot of investors that don't use gold as their safe haven. They use government debt, sovereign debt. And so cash is a safe haven, and sovereign debt is a safe haven. And another safe haven people use as a store of value is an index fund, bond index funds and stock index funds, like the Russell 2000, the S&P 500, the Dow index. So all told, I think there's between 300 and 400 trillion dollars worth of fiat instruments, cash, debt, stock, commercial real estate indexes, something in that range. They're all, if you look at all of that, half of that monetary energy, maybe more, between 50 and 75%, is simply seeking a store of value as a container. Like when I buy the S&P 500 index or the Vanguard fund, I'm not buying it because I equally love all 500 S&P stocks equally in proportion to their market caps. That's not why I bought the index. I bought the index because I had $1 million and I knew if it was cash, it would be debased in purchasing power. And so I needed to put it into something which was going to return more than the economic hurdle rate or the cost of capital. So some people choose to preserve their wealth by investing in gold. Some people choose to preserve their wealth by buying land, a land bank. I'm just going to buy a bunch of farmland. I don't love it. I just bought it. Some people choose to preserve their wealth by buying debt. Like there's like $100 trillion worth of sovereign debt, right? 10-year treasuries, 30-year treasuries, 3-year, 1-year treasuries. There's like $17 trillion worth of debt that's negative yielding. I think the last number I saw.
All right, so that's Michael Saylor, and what you can see is that he's creating a new narrative. The narrative says that it's not only about gold or replacing gold's market cap, but what he's saying is that people are putting their money into index funds, into government bonds, into properties just to protect their wealth. And those aren't the most optimal asset classes if you want to protect your wealth. Let's take a listen to what else he had to say, because I think this is super important. And guys, if you are watching this, let's share this in the world, in the crypto world. Give us some love. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. That is what gets the show circulated. We've built an amazing community, as I said to you guys yesterday, probably the fastest growing community on YouTube, but we need your help. hit that like button one more time, share the link, tell your friends that we're live. Let's get the show on the road. Let's listen to what else Michael Saylor had to say.
Energy in the world that's looking for a safe haven store of value is got to be between 100 trillion and 250 trillion. Like, why not all of it? Like, why not 300 trillion or 350 trillion? If whatever the total sum of everything. Well, the answer is, at the right price, I would own a stock because I believe in the stock. Like, for example, Tesla. If you bought Tesla at the beginning of the year, it went up by a factor of 5. And if you love Tesla, and if you believe it's a growth stock, then you invest. You're making an investment decision. I might make an investment decision in a stock that I thought was going to grow faster than the cost of capital. If you believe that a stock can grow its revenues and its cash flows more than 20% a year, you should probably own the stock, right? If the stock is going to outperform the cost of capital. If you came to me and you asked for a loan and you were going to erect a hospital, and I lived in the city, and I had kids and we needed a hospital, and I was a wealthy person, I would give you the loan, I would buy the bond so that you could build a hospital so that my family doesn't die if they need the hospital. So sometimes creditors would issue credit because they have a passionate belief in the project. And equity investors would invest because they have a passionate belief. That's investment, and that's true crediting. I mean, credit and equity investments. And the same is true with real estate, right? I might buy real estate to live in. I love it. Or buy a commercial office building to put my company in, or a factory. On the other hand, when I'm buying the index of 187 companies I never heard of that yields me 2% or 3%, I'm just looking for a store of value. So that's a long-winded answer to the question, which is, is Bitcoin worth more than the value of gold? And the answer is, yeah, in theory, all monetary energy that's simply looking for a store of value safe haven index should presumably drain out of real estate, cash, stocks, and bonds into the Bitcoin network. And as that happens, the price discovery will return to real estate and bond, right? A real bond should not pay you 0% interest, right? A real bond should not charge you money to own it, right? That's offensive. So the bond values will fall. The equity values will fall, the real estate values will fall, the yields, the dividend yields, the rent yields, the bond coupon yields, they will go up until a rational actor would choose to own those as an investment, or a person that's a passionate investor will own them because they're trophy assets that they simply wish to own, to say they own them for their own personal purposes. And the rest of the monetary energy really ought to be in a Bitcoin network because it's a pure index of the economy without counterparty risk, without execution risk, without credit risk, without debasement and political risk, without the tax risk, et cetera, and the political risk. That's why that makes sense. And that means that the top is more than 100 trillion. It's somewhere between 100 trillion and 300 trillion in today's money. And of course, if we look out 5 or 10 years, there may be 700 trillion in today's money then. So if half of the monetary energy sits in a store of value index, then it could be 300 or 400 trillion dollars.
And all this time, I've been aiming to take over gold's market cap, and it seems like obviously I've been aiming way too low, because he's talking about all the monetary energy in the world. Instead of storing it in assets that you don't really want or don't really care about because you're scared of dollar devaluation, now you've got an asset that was purpose designed for exactly that. And his thesis is not a very crazy thesis. So I take that thesis and I say, okay, that's the thesis. Now you've got this savior, this Michael Saylor, taking his playbook and doing free sessions to the rest of Wall Street, about how to do this and to remain in the law. And then I couple that with the fact that we've now got more money sitting on exchanges in stable coins than we've ever had. And I say that the prices should go up. But then again, who am I? I've got Coach K with me. Coach, what do you think?
How you doing?
Good on you.
How's everyone today?
Why? What's going on with this Bitcoin price? I mean, I'm starting to look at it, and it keeps testing that support level and keeps testing that support level. And my experience is that if it keeps testing the support level, eventually it's going to break down at some point.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like Bitcoin lately, at least, Bitcoin lately has kind of been testing a lot of people. Now, I'm not really going to say I'm totally bearish, but I would say that I'm short-term bearish because I'm starting to see signs of it maybe breaking down. That would change very quickly in one swift moment if we shot back above 35 and held. But we did retest that level, that trend line on the daily, and we rejected it pretty hard yesterday. So right now, I need to see us break below and close below 30,000, 29 right on the Kijun. If we get below this level, which I thought we would come and tap, and we did, and we recovered, then, we're looking a little bit better. But what I see here is, we had this trend line, it held, it broke down, came to the Kijun, and then yesterday we literally tapped exactly on that trend line and then rejected and started coming back down. So it's not like we're super bearish. I wouldn't say like, oh, go sell all your coins now, but I did today sell some of my alts, a little bit of my Bitcoin, a little bit of my Ethereum, just a little bit, just to be safe, and move some stops a little bit into profit on some other trades as well, just to be safe, because it's not looking very strong. Like we got lower high, right?
Coach, let me tell you what I think's happening here. We had Grayscale that was closed for over a month.
Yeah,
or maybe a month and a half. They weren't taking on any new orders or any new clients. Then they came back into the market and they started buying like crazy guys. They're crazy mofos. They came into the market and they bought 30,000 Bitcoin in 1 week or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
Okay, now the backlog's finished. And so there's no one buying. But remember that they haven't opened up their Ethereum trust yet. And Ethereum is still holding quite strong. So to me, I don't see that the fundamentals have changed. The dollar index, the strength of the dollar has become a little bit stronger. I don't know if you follow the dollar index. Let's look at the dollar index. The dollar index, if you look this morning, the dollar index has actually become a little bit stronger. So you see
a little bit. You can see like way back, I think it was like in the earlier January, I said, we're probably going to come back, test this line, this level right here from the past. We've held this level from our last downturn in 2018. And I thought we would test this and come back down at least to test 89.23. So if we do that, that'd be great. And it kind of looks like, if you look here, we got a little bit of a head and shoulders type pattern. I'll just draw this quick. You can see that this is the left shoulder, the head, and then we have the right shoulder. So this could actually break down and very easily come back to this level right down here.
That would be the best case. That would be the absolute best case scenario for us.
It'd be great for BTC. Yeah.
How do you reconcile bad technicals with extremely amazing fundamentals? Like how do you juggle the two in your head? So on the one hand, you've got everything going Bitcoin's way. You've got coins going off exchanges. You've got more institutions buying. You've got university endowments buying. These guys are not short-term buyers. And then you look at the chart and you go, hold on a second. The charts are telling me that there may be some short-term danger ahead. How do you reconcile that when you're dealing with something like Bitcoin? Not altcoins. We'll talk about altcoins in a second.
Yeah, absolutely. So with Bitcoin, the thing about it is it has mind of its own. We all know that. And so that's why I said I sold a little bit and put stops in profit, because I do understand the fundamentals. I do understand that there are really big institutions getting into the space. But here's the thing. They're telling you we're coming in the space. Some of them actually are. Some of them actually aren't yet. They're waiting for that opportunity for a dip to go and buy. And if you've been watching whale wallets, that last dip that we did go down to 29, we recovered extremely quickly off of that level, because guess what happened? We saw all the wallets that have 1,000 Bitcoin start to increase, and all those whales came and bought that up. So they're doing exactly what they wanted. They're getting the price to come down, slam it down a bit, and then buy it back up for cheaper. Because if I'm an institution and I want to put $1 billion into Bitcoin, I don't want to do it at $40,000. I want to do it at $20,000 if I can do it. Well,
if you listen to what Scott Minot said from Guggenheim, I mean, he said he's calling a $1,000 Bitcoin, but at $20,000, he said, "Oh, I'm waiting for $20,000." Coach, it looks like you've made a lot of money in altcoins, and that's because I see you upgraded your studio from that old curtain that we used to have. And now you've got like a whole real studio. So it's a function of making money out of altcoins, or?
Well, I love altcoins. They've obviously made everyone a lot of money. I mean, and I'm, as much as I'm an altcoin guy, I'm also very big on private sales. People that know me know that, like, I'm not just a trader, but I'm also a very good investor. That's some people don't even know me as a trader; they know me as the investor side. And I look for fundamentals first. Like, that's always where you should start. The technicals just kind of give you a little bit of a leg up on your fundamentals and can kind of give you confluence. And some people just trade the charts, and that works for them too. It tells you a lot. So what I would say with altcoins right now is be very careful. Danger, exactly. Because if Bitcoin does break down, guess what happens to your altcoins? They also break down. Now, there's a couple things I could show you here.
That's not what happened on the weekend, but show me, because I was watching on the weekend. Bitcoin came down. My alt bag never had such a good run like I had this weekend.
Exactly. And here's why. So I've been plotting this out. So we talked about the head and shoulders on Bitcoin and stuff, right? Well, what I saw was a head and shoulders on Bitcoin dominance, which told me, whoa, Bitcoin's losing dominance. And what's gaining dominance if Bitcoin's losing it? Alts. So I started looking and I went, man, this is really starting to drop. And I said, this Bitcoin dominance will go bearish if we go below the cloud, right? And we did. We went below the cloud. Our Chiku went bearish. We had a bearish TK cross right here. It looks like the cloud might spin and turn a little bit bearish. So a lot of bearish signs. Now, just to go back a little bit further, I'll go on the weekly here. Wow, that's right. Okay, so on the weekly here, every time we've ever broken this level and come down, we've seen alt season start. So I'm literally sitting here and going, it's coming. I don't know when it's coming exactly. People have been saying 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. Coach, it's here, man. I don't know where you've been if you haven't had
alt season. I mean, like the real, like you see every coin that comes out does 50x and all the crazy stuff we saw from 2017. That's going to come back. Alt season definitely is here. I've made ton of off alts, but I think like the real crazy everything does 100% every other day type stuff, that's coming. It's almost here, but we need to break this 62% Bitcoin dominance. We break that 62. Yeah,
alts only go up, my friend. That's where we're at the moment, and they're going up a lot. And for me, that's a warning sign. I'll talk about all the warning signs. Show us your chart. I want to talk about the warning signs that I'm seeing, and then I want to talk about some specific alts. I know you've got 1 or 2 calls, either good or bad. So
yeah, of course. So here, look, we break this level down and we start going towards 57. You are going to see all of your altcoins start to absolutely melt your faces. And I mean melt faces like you showed Keeper Dow doing 8x. You're going to see Keeper Dow doing 25. 30, 35x, because that's what we saw last bull season, and that's what we're going to see this time. You're going to see all these alts like Paid Network, when they launch, they instantaneously do a 15x right out the gate, and they hold that level. You're going to see the other Fraxes that do 150x. You're going to see a lot more of that, and it's going to be almost like you could throw money in any crappy coin, and it will all make you money. That's what alt season is.
That is what's happening now. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you on hold because I want to talk about what I'm seeing in the market. I'll see you in a little bit. Guys, I have to warn you. I warned you guys earlier. I'm seeing all the warning signs for alt season again. And I want to share this with you because I think it's important that we talk about it. I think it's important that we talk about the dangers of where we're entering into right now. And let me take you back a little bit. So we saw Ethereum breaking towards its all-time high. It failed to close the all-time high, and it's flirting with that all-time high. It's going to close above the all-time high soon, and then then we say officially that it's alt season. And that should be no surprise to you guys because we said this. We said people are going to make money on Bitcoin. They're going to take their money from Bitcoin because they're going to get bored of the lack of returns, and they're going to start putting their money into altcoins. And starting off with Ethereum, they're going to work their way down. Ethereum, DOT, Litecoin, and that's exactly what's happening right now. We saw this in 2017. This is an exact replica of 2017. You can see it on this chart. You can see where we went up and then we went down. And what worries me, guys, is that I saw a lot of people who made money in 2017. And I'm talking to you guys about serious money, millions and maybe even billions of dollars in 2017. And then they left in 2018 and 2019 with nothing. And maybe even they left with debt. And that's what I want to prevent you guys from doing. And so I want to share with you guys why I'm worried. Why am I worried? What am I seeing? What are these amazing warning signs that I'm seeing, that I've seen before? And again, I think markets repeat themselves. You have to believe that markets repeat themselves. And that's why I want to show you guys what it is that I'm actually seeing and why I think we're actually getting into danger territory. Well, the first reason why I'm getting into danger territory is because everyone and their dog is making money today. Everyone that I know that's trading in Bitcoin or alts is making money today. And the problem with that is that, I mean, this morning, what inspired me to make this video for you guys today, and I was going to save it for a much later date. This morning, I went for a haircut. When I got there, the hairdresser spoke to me about buying Bitcoin. When I left, some guy stopped me in the parking lot and said, "Hey, are you CryptoManRan? Do you think that Kusama can do another 100x?" When that happens, that is the first sign that we're getting into alt season. And I'll tell you why, because when you see everyone getting into crypto or asking you about crypto, we call this the dumb money. We call this the weak hands. These are the hairdressers. These are the Uber drivers. These are the grannies. These are my mom's friends and my granny's friends, all getting into crypto. And the problem with this is that these guys are weak hands. Let's talk about the psychology of how these people buy. So they buy a shitcoin, or they buy without knowing what the hell's going on. They have no idea what they're buying. And if you ever want to test it, ask your hairdresser or your Uber driver why he bought Kusama. And believe me, what you'll hear is an interpretation of what Kusama is that has got nothing to do with what Kusama actually is. And you realize then that these people are buying without having any understanding of what they're buying. But here's the psychology behind it. They buy, they put their money into it, and their money starts to grow. And so when they see their money growing, what do? They take more money and put more money into crypto. And they put more and more and more money into crypto. And guess what? This money just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing. And they believe that they're geniuses. In fact, what they then do is they try and stop their day jobs, or they spend more time on their crypto portfolios than they do about their day jobs. But they have no idea what they're doing. And then guess what? We have one red candle and the market goes down once. And these people get so stressed because their positions are so big that they start to sell everything, and they start to sell everything quickly. And when they do that, the market goes further down until they get to a point where they say, hold on, the token was trading so expensive and it's now come down so much, I can't sell it at this price. And guess what? It goes down another 50% from there. And these people get absolutely, absolutely wiped. And that's exactly where we are today. Everywhere I go, people are investing in alts. The litmus test for me is when people start asking me, random people start asking me if they should invest in coins. And when I ask them, why did you invest in that coin? And they absolutely can't tell me, then I know the dumb money is starting to flow into it. And even though I don't think we're in a mania just yet, I think we're getting very, very, very close. Don't kid yourself that there's still a long way to go, because I'm not sure that there is. The next telltale sign for me is one that we should all look at, and that is that alts only go up. So today, no matter what you invest in, alts only go up. Put your money into an alt, you're going to make money. Okay, maybe you won't make money in 24 hours and 48 hours, but in 72 hours, you will make money. And that's a very scary sign for me. The third sign for me that scares me a lot, or the third warning signal, is that companies and projects and protocols are raising money way too quickly. And they're raising millions of dollars, $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $20 million in a matter of seconds. In fact, you remember yesterday, we told you that this protocol called Lendify was being launched on Falcon Swap. Well, guess what? This sold out in a matter of split seconds. Split seconds, this company raised all the money. Now, if you've ever raised money for a business before that isn't in crypto and doesn't have a token, you'll know that raising money is actually supposed to be quite difficult. It's not supposed to be that easy. And so when people are raising obscene amounts of money without people doing any kind of due diligence and throwing this money in, we know that dumb money is going into projects. Now, I'm not commenting at all about the type of projects. All I'm saying is the type of money that's going in is dumb money, and people are raising money for nothing. Just today, I probably had 6 or 7 calls with projects. Out of the 6 or 7 calls, all of them I know are going to sell out in 10 minutes. There's not a single one of those projects that I currently invest in that currently meets the fundamentals. And so to me, we are getting into a heated market, and I want to make sure that you, my community, survive this heated market. And in fact, not only do I want you guys to survive the heated market, I want us all to drive away from this heated market in Lambos. So it's all very well that we buy the Lambo in the bull market, but what I want to do is I want to make sure that we drive away from this bear market in Lambos. And so what I decided to do was to give you guys a guide. And I call this CryptoManRan's Guide to Surviving Alt Season. And it teaches you how to survive alt season while we're in it and also after alt season. So it's not only about surviving alt season without getting anxiety and depression and overexcited, but it also teaches you how to survive it afterwards and how to keep your money afterwards. And remember, all I want from you guys is I want you guys to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button now, but also I want you guys to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button when you buy the Lambo that you're going to buy at the end of alt season, not now, because right now, really, anybody could buy a Lambo. I've met kids, people that know nothing about crypto, making money and making enough money to buy a Lambo. So it's not about now. It's about, can we make our money or can we keep our money till the end of the alt season? And that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. And for me, I've given you guys a whole lot of rules because, I love these trading rules. And the first rule that I have for you guys is don't FOMO into trades. Okay, there's going to be lots of opportunities in this alt market. There's going to be more opportunities than you can even imagine. And these projects, they may be good technical projects, some of them, but I can tell you that a lot of these projects are unbelievable marketing projects. I mean, I'll give you one trick. And that is what they do is they get all the influencers on board and they pay the influencers to make videos for them. And then you think that all the influencers are buying this and are FOMOing into this, and you go, wow, I have to buy what everybody else is buying. Now, you'll remember that we don't take payments. So you know that everything that we do here is legitimate. Like I said to you guys yesterday, and I want to reiterate it, we are the one channel where you can never, ever, ever, ever pay us to review a token. We will never, ever, ever accept any money for reviewing tokens from any project. And so be careful. Don't FOMO into these trades. Make sure that before you buy into a trade, you do the research. And that's the next rule that I want you guys to do. Do research. Do research on every trade. And if you feel that you're not qualified enough to do research, go to your favorite YouTubers and go to your favorite research sites and just see what they are saying about the product. But be careful. Be careful of anybody that's being paid to show the project, because if you're being paid, you can't give a bad review on that project. So make sure the best stations are the ones where the hosts invest in a project. And that's exactly what I do. I will never, ever, ever accept payment for promoting a project, tweeting about a project, but I may invest in a project. And if I do invest, then I'm going to share my strategy with you guys and show you guys why I've invested. And if you go through the channel, what you'll see is we gave you guys a whole lot of videos as to why I invest in Arweave, why I invested in Filer Network, and so many other ones. And that will give you guys a clue as to how you guys should be doing research. But do research on every single trade. The next thing that I want you guys to do is have a trading strategy. If you don't have a strategy before, not after, before you enter a trade, you're going to lose money. Guys, believe it or not, every time I enter a trade, before I get into that trade, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I know what my stop loss is. In other words, I know if it goes down to a certain level, I'm going to sell it no matter what. No matter how much I believe in the fundamentals, I'm going to sell it. More importantly, I know when I'm going to take profits. And I do this with discipline and I do this clinically. If I say I buy a token at 10 cents and I say it goes to 30 cents, I'm taking out my original 10 cents. At 30 cents, I take out my original 10 cents. Regardless of whether I think there's a Binance listing or a new announcement, I take my money out. And I told you guys yesterday where I put my money. Some of the money I put into Bitcoin, ETH, and Polkadot. Some I put into USD, and some I put into my 100x fund, which is to fund the next 100x token. Cool. So that is having a trading strategy. The next one is one that we all do, and that's because we're human, guys. And I know we're human. And you need to remove your human emotion. Don't get emotionally attached to coins. If you look at people in the XRP community, they've become cheerleaders for XRP. They're married to XRP. When I hear this, I think that's the dumbest thing that I've ever heard, because XRP doesn't care about you, and cheerleaders never land up making money from cheerleading. In fact, all you're going to do is you're going to lose your money. So you got to remove the emotion. You got to be clinical. Not if the price goes down, don't say, oh, but you know, the team is working so hard and they delayed. The price goes down, you exercise your stop loss and you're out and you move on to trade another day. You got to be clinical about these things. Every single trader that I've ever met that got emotional about his investment lost money. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the psychology of that. You buy a token. Now you're invested. And then you start shilling the token to your friends because you want to show them what you've bought. By doing that, you become more emotionally invested in the token. Then the token goes down. And then you got to justify to yourself and to your friends why you should still hold the token because you told them before that they should buy it. And so you become a cheerleader. And if you were a cheerleader for XRP at $3, you're still a cheerleader at 20 cents. And it's, in my opinion, it's probably at some point going to go to zero or very close to zero. And there'll be a lot of cheerleaders cheering it right down into the grave. And you don't want to be one of those cheerleaders because if you are, you're not going to drive away in a Lambo with the rest of us. And we're all going to be driving away with Lambos at the end of this alt season, not right now in the middle of the alt season. So we've spoken about having not FOMOing into trades, doing a whole lot of research, having a trading strategy, and being super, super, super fucking disciplined about following your trading strategy. The next thing is to block out the noise. The best traders that I know are focused. They've got a strategy, and nothing can stop them from what they're doing. They block out all the noise, and they make sure that they follow the fundamentals only. Don't worry about what's going on Twitter. Don't worry what's going on in the Telegram group. Have a strategy, believe in your fundamentals like I do. I believe in the fundamentals of my altcoins. And let me tell you, even now that the market's going down, I'm not selling any of them until they hit my predetermined stop loss. And let me tell you another thing. I'm so far up that they're probably not going to hit the stop loss anytime soon. And then the last rule for me that I want you guys to apply is to only buy tokens that will survive a bear market, because any token can go up in a bull market. But ask yourself what happens if we get to a 2018, 2019 market. Will your token keep any value? Bitcoin is going to survive. Ethereum is going to survive. DOT is going to survive. Kusama is probably going to survive. But what about these small cap alts? Are they going to survive? Now, do your own research and find out, convince yourself that these tokens are going to survive. And if they are going to survive, then those are the tokens that you invest in. Yeah, so that's it, guys. That is CryptoManRan's guide to surviving this altcoin market and making sure that we all drive away in Lambos after the altcoin market. And if you want more about this, then either leave some comments in the YouTube, and I'm going to get to comments later here with Coach K, or get us on Twitter or get us on our Telegram group, which is Crypto Banter. You can get us there and we can help you with your bags. In fact, what I'm going to do sometime later this week is I'm going to do a segment called Fix My Portfolio. And that's when you guys can call in and we will fix your portfolio. We'll literally sit here, myself, Coach K, and some others, and we'll tell you where to put your money or whether your portfolio is geared for a bear market. I'm going to bring the coach back. Coach, what do you think of the rules?
I think they're great rules. I think they're really important ones that you need to follow. If you like money, you better secure your capital, because number one rule in trading is capital preservation. And if you're not following a rule to enter a trade with a plan, you fail to plan, you plan to fail, guys. So plan it out, think where you're going to get in, where you're going to get out, where you're going to stop, and definitely be very disciplined, or you'll turn into a cheerleader like Ran was saying, and you'll be clocked. That's for sure.
A lot of XRP cheerleaders out there, and they're going to cheer it right down into the grave. Coach, how do you reconcile taking profits in a bull market? And I'll tell you, let me frame that question for you. So you buy a token at $2, it goes to $5. You sell at $5, it goes to $7. And you think, why the hell did I sell? I love the token. I know what it's doing. Why the hell did I sell? And you get this FOMO. And I sometimes feel that FOMO is much deeper and much bigger than the happiness of making money.
Yeah.
How do you reconcile that?
Well, the thing is like, if you're smart, if you're thinking about this smart, right? You go into a trade, you're not just going to take all your profit at once. If it's doing well and it's going up and it's not bearish at all, you're going to hold some of it, right? So as you go up, here's the most important thing I'll ever tell you ever. Take your initial out. So if you put in like $5,000 into a trade, right? And you doubled up, and you now can take your $5,000 out and let the other $5,000 ride. It's free money from the market. You can let that ride. If it starts to drop, you lose a little bit, but that's okay because it's all profit. And if you do that with several trades, you create moon bags. And moon bags, you can set a stop that's already in profit. nice and loose. And as it goes higher and higher, you just move that up. Same with what I did with Bitcoin. Bitcoin kept going, except telling you guys, hey, I'm still going to keep moving my stop up. And then it stopped out, right? And that's kind of the game plan, right? You don't need to take profit all the time. You can, but if you're in a profitable position and you can stop out in profit, you already can't lose. So that in that position, you're good. And there's a really good example I have. Like I got into Alliance block really, really early, and now it's up 80x. And people are like, how much have you held? And I'm like, I've held like 90% of it, literally. And they're like, how? And I'm like, well, I took my initial out on the first distribution, and now I'm all in profit. So instead of me just taking all my profit and getting out and being sad, I kept my moon bag. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, if it doesn't keep going higher, I'm just going to start taking some profit. Now every week, maybe 10%, 5% at a time. I think that's a really easy way to do it. Yeah.
What I want to do is I want to banter a little bit with you. I want to talk alts, but I also want to talk about the comments. And so I'm going to encourage all of you guys to comment or even dial into the studio. If you want to join us on the show, even if you want to remain anonymous, go to www.cryptobanter.com. Hit the call in live, and you can decide whether you want to call in anonymously or actually call in as yourself. So I'm looking at the comments. Rocky Patch, he panic sold. Rocky Patch, if you panic sold, it means that you invested too much. And you were probably investing way more than you could afford to lose. And the problem is when the market starts going down, you start to panic and then you sell. Whereas if you take smaller bites, then you won't panic. And then you'll be able to hodl. And hodl has been an amazing, amazing, amazing strategy. I got another one here. I'm going to let Coach answer this. It says, Ryan, this is from RR. Ryan, is this moon or rect time? Coach, what do you think? Moon or rect?
I mean, every day could be moon or rect. It depends on what you're doing. I think right now we're kind of in a spot where we're not either moon or rect. We're kind of figuring out where we're going next. Bitcoin hasn't really dumped below 30,000. It keeps coming back up. So we're in a range. So right now we're not in moon or rect. If we break that 29,000 and close below, we're going to be more towards the rect side. If we go and break up and we start going towards 34, 35 and close around there, we're starting to look more like the moon side. And if we stay sideways and Ethereum just explodes, then we're definitely moon, because I'm waiting for Ethereum to break that level, which is tried twice now, and retest and go higher. Once ETH is at like $1,500, guys, we're in moon season for sure.
So I love this one. This is the next. I mean, David, I'm watching your comment. It says, I didn't take profits in 2017, but I sure did this time. Guys, that's probably the smartest comment we've seen today. And that's because David, like us, lived through 2017. A lot of people never took profits. I took a little bit of profits, but not enough. And let me tell you now, every time that I get this FOMO that I'm going to lose money by taking profits, I just think back to what happened in 2017, where a lot of people that I know got wrecked. So David, that is, for me, the winning comment. And I mean, worth a pat on the back. Well done, my friend. Coach, I see you looking at some charts there. What are you looking at?
So, okay, here's like a potential if we get to a point where we're looking wrecked. Okay, so this is uni down, Uniswap down, right? I just want to show you guys something. Now, obviously, this is one of those special tokens on Binance where they have these leveraged tokens, right? So I'm just looking at uni down, and I was like, holy moly! I was watching with my partner, and we were like, oh my god, let me just show you something here. If we went to this level again, if we got wrecked, you can make money if the market gets bad, okay? Last time, we didn't have the ability to short altcoins. Thank you, CZ. You were just on the show. You literally gave everyone the opportunity. So did you, Sam, from FTX. You gave us the opportunity now to short, but not just short Bitcoin, but to short altcoins. And what a great thing for all of us if the market gets bearish. Instead of watching our altcoins go, oh man, we're losing money, we can literally go short them on a leverage trade coin, and this one has a potential to do 100x if we even just go to, it started at 24, it's at 6 cents right now. So like literally, if I
want to just caution our viewers here. Just first of all, let's talk about what a short position is.
Yes.
When you buy something, you go long, and that is when you expect something to go up. So if you buy something for $1 and you expect it to go up to $2, that is going long. Going short is when you think something is going to go down. So if you think that something that's trading at $1 is going to go down, you short it, which means you sell it, which means you've sold something you don't have, and then you buy it back cheaper, and that's called shorting. And we have got a guest who's coming into the studio. So, Coach, I'm going to take your chart off the screen. We've got someone who's here to banter with us. Maurice, I saw
Absolutely.
that you were connected. I see you disconnected now. He is unfortunately disconnected. All right, Coach,
All
what
right.
else are we looking at while Maurice dials back into the studio?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm looking at DOT. Okay, so people have been like, oh man, DOT's looking bearish. I'm like, nah, I think it's just going to come back and retest this level. And so if you guys are loving DOT and you're like, okay, well, if this is just a little retracement, what are we looking to buy DOT? I'm looking to buy DOT around $14.75. We got some nice confluence here. We got a very everything is bullish, right? So we have a bullish Chiku, bullish Kumo. We're above the cloud. We have bullish TK cross. Our 21-day EMA is hooked up. This is bullish still. DOT is not bearish at all, like not even a little bit. So if we come and we retest this level, or we tap this level at the 21, or we come down all the way down to the Kijin at 11, these are little areas where you could scale in, right? And that would be a good opportunity to get some more DOT. And as you can see, I do have an alert right here. So if we do come to that level, I will be looking to grab some. So if you're a DOT lover, that's the areas to look at.
I must say, if we could get DOT at like 13, 14 bucks, I think that would be a real win. MJ, DOT is coming down. Definitely my buys are laddered from 15 to 14. In 10 years, it doesn't matter. If even in 3 years, if DOT works, whether it's at whether you bought it at a 14 or 15 billion dollar market cap doesn't really matter. I mean, if I look at my Ethereum portfolio, my first Ethereum I was buying at $3, then $8. And to be honest, there's no difference whether I bought it at 3 or 8 when you're talking about a portfolio that is at it's now $1,300. So no one really cares. And that's because fundamentally I took a view that I liked Ethereum.
Absolutely.
I see Bitcoin. Bitcoin, you said, I love CZ Money. If you love CZ Money, you must watch our interview with CZ that we did earlier today. I love CZ. He's just such a fantastic guy.
He's so good for us. He's so good for traders.
Coach, what did you think of the interview?
I didn't see it, actually. I was putting my kids to bed, but I'll watch it after. But I really like CZ as I think that a lot of people hate on him, and that's good, because when people are hating on you, it means you're doing something right. And, he's just been innovating and trying to give tools for us, because as much as people are like, oh no, I put on futures, it's horrible because it's going to stop the price from going up. I used to be like that. And I went, wait a minute, we get bearish. Now I can make money on the way down. So this is really great. He's given us the ability to not only just take profit if the market comes down and watch it go down and go, oh, that sucks, Bitcoin's coming back down and retracing for another bear market. We can actually profit from that this time. I really love that. And I love his creativity. Like, he just added the Polkadot ecosystem index fund. So that's really cool as well. And yeah, I do follow like a lot of he says, and I love his snarky comments to Peter Schiff and all the stuff that he does. So yeah, I'm not a hater.
Joseph Cesar is asking us any thoughts on Ren in relation to DOT. I'm not sure what he means by Ren in relation to DOT. Two very different projects. I mean, we know that Ren will probably operate on the DOT ecosystem at some point, but I'm not sure what he means by that. I've got another one here, another caller here going, Colacho is his name. And he says, please ask what platform or exchange we should use. Well, I think that every trader needs to be on Binance. I think you must have a Binance account, and you must know how to use Uniswap, because that's where all the small cap gems are. And if you don't know how to use Uniswap and want to know how to use Uniswap, my producer Neil will leave a link for you at the bottom of this YouTube video, which is a link to a video that we did teaching people how to use Uniswap, because you need to know how to use Uniswap if you want to trade the gems. It's simple as that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, and if you're in the US, you might want to grab a Kraken or Binance US account or Coinbase. As much as they get all their flack that they have, I mean, you don't really have too much options if you're US based. You can't trade on Binance, so unless you have an entity outside of the US. So yeah.
A few others. I got someone asking, what do we think of Holochain? I don't really know Holochain. Do you know
Holochain? Man, that's feels like it's dead and beyond dead. I mean, the guys from Orion are from Holochain. They seem to have all left. It seems to have been a project that kind of got left behind. The tech seemed quite good, but once I saw half the team was, from Holochain, or a bunch of them left to go to Orion, I figured, maybe they kind of gave up. So that's my thoughts on Holochain. And yeah, don't get married to stuff that is kind of old and no one's really talking about. Focus on the stuff that everyone is talking about.
All right, guys. So tomorrow what we're going to do is, if you want us to fix your portfolio, you can log in and you can tell us to to fix your portfolio. You log in, you can come onto the show, you can be anonymous and tell us what's in your portfolio, and we'll tell you how to shuffle your portfolio. Coach, we've got time for one more chart. I see you calling up a chart. I'm seeing a little an upwards trend. What are we looking at?
We're looking at ICX. I mean, it's an oldie.
Korean, the 2017 Korean blockchain project. Seriously.
It's being used. It's being used in Korea. And there's another one, Luna, that's also being used in Korea very heavily, and it's done extremely well in the last few weeks. But why I'm looking at this more on a TA perspective. So I see like we've broken into the cloud. We had a bullish TK cross. We're bullish on the Chiku span, right? And now we're trying to get above this 200-day EMA. Well, the thing is once we get above that level and we break this, and I mean, I've been in since down here when I saw that we were having like this nice little consolidation. We broke out. I came in on the retest right here, and I'm looking at like this level tapping, and there's not much to stop it going up to here. So I would see like there could be a really nice 60 to 80% trade there. Just like I called with Ren, I'm seeing similar types of deal here. And, we could come retest that top and come up here. We could go a lot higher potentially, but this is all going to be dependent on if Bitcoin can stay sideways. We want it to stay in that range. We don't want it to break down. We don't want it to break up too hard.
MJ Ribe says, I have ICX from 25 cents. It's going to the moon. I was in the ICX ICO in 2017. I think that went like to 100x.
They did 104x or something. That was a good one, yeah.
Yeah, but I walked away with way less than 100x. In fact, I think I even walked away with less than 10x. All right, Coach, let's leave it there for today. I think that is all we've got time for. I know it's late where you are. You're in Thailand in your very, 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 very fancy new studio, paid for by which altcoin?
By Frax. If you guys don't know what Frax shares, it's it only did 150x, so not so bad.
Coach, I think I'm going to have a special segment with you about investing in private rounds, because a lot of our viewers don't know how to invest in private rounds.
Absolutely.
We will do that another time, because I am dead tired. I've done 2 shows today. I've got to go home and chill. So I'll see you again tomorrow.
Go home and chill, man.
Place.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. I'll see you guys again. Same time, same place tomorrow. If you are trading out there, be safe out there. Remember, I told you guys that I'm seeing all the warning signs. I want you guys to drive away with the Lambos. I'll see you again tomorrow, 10 a.m. EST. Until then, trade well, my friends.
Crypto Banter is a social podcast for entertainment purposes only. All opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers should not be construed as financial advice. Views expressed by guests and hosts do not reflect the views of the station. Listeners are encouraged to do their own research.